कृष्ण वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधु एव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। I quickly share the quote for today. Having faith in Lord Krishna is believing in a better tomorrow, even when today feels hard. This is by Gauranga Das. I'll repeat. Having faith in Lord Krishna is believing in a better tomorrow. Sorry, I just lost the page. Okay. So, so today we're very fortunate to have His Grace Tulasi Govind Prabhuji from Mayapur, India, and even enlighten us on the topic of Damodar Lila. So, Prabhuji, you can go ahead and take over. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for joining us.
Vanchakalpatarvishya kripa sindhubheva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat padamaham vande Shri Gurum Vinadaranam Brahmanandam Madhvam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. So, Mataji, are you going to share the Damodar Ashtakam on the screen, or shall I go ahead and?
Prabhuji, I will. You can go ahead and share. Let me make you a co-host. Will that help?
Yeah.
I want you. Should I make you the host?
Anything would do.
Okay. I mean, see if you can share with the co-host. Otherwise, if not, then I will make you host. No problem. Let me know, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
I think Prabhuji logged out. Hare Krishna, Sundar Prabhuji and Geeta Mataji, Madan Pranam to you. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. I forgot to introduce everyone today.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. And
Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining, Mataji. Today our attendance is not too much, but at least some of us joined, maybe others will join later.
Is it people are praying for during Kartik Mas?
Actually, a lot of people, Shama Rasika Mataji is in India. Her husband is leaving. Pooja Mataji is leaving. Manita Prabhu is already left. So a lot of people are actually in Vrindavan. They're leaving for India. But some of us are here,
Oh, is this the time to go to Vrindavan for Kartik Mas?
Yes, a lot of people go there in the Kartik Mas, Mataji, from middle of October to middle of November. That's how it's falling this year.
Okay.
So, yeah, people are there.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah. So we're just waiting for Prabhuji. He's going to enlighten us with Damodar Lila. I have to see why he's not able to log in.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Gita ji is good enough. Shri Krishna Maharaj ji ki Gita ji is there, so everybody is there.
Yeah. That is true. You're right, Prabhuji. I'm just worried that maybe Prabhuji, does he know that he's logged out? So I'm going to call. I mean, sometimes the speaker doesn't know they're logged out, We are all not so technology savvy. So I'm going to mute myself and call him.
Please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I'm sorry I was trying your number because I was worried that maybe you are logged out and you don't know about it. But I can see you now, Prabhuji.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, I got logged out for a few minutes. I'm so sorry.
Okay, so now should I make you the host again?
Yeah, you have to. 1 second. I'll try to share.
No, I was just wondering, Prabhuji, with the co-host also, can you share? I don't know the features.
Yeah, we can. We can.
Okay, co-host also. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm going to make you co-host right away. Yeah.
I hope you can see the screen now. Yeah.
Yes, we can see the screen. Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Actually, we discovered that with co-host also, the screen can be shared. The new discovery today. Thank you, Prabhuji. So please take over, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Shri Damodar Ashtakam ki jai. Satyavrata Muni ki jai. So we're going to discuss in short. How much time do we have, Mataji, today?
So, Prabhuji, it's like I would say till 8:30 time is there, but 8:15 you can kind of stop because then we can do question answers if any has. Otherwise, normally, yeah, 8.
So 30 minutes. 30 minutes from now. 30 minutes or 40 minutes.
I mean, you can go up to 45 minutes. I'm just thinking it's 7:34, but from 7:30 to 7:45, like 8:45. No. Sorry,
Okay.
8:15. Sorry, Prabhuji, 45 minutes.
45 minutes. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. 8:15 in India, so 45 minutes. Yeah. Okay.
कार्तिक मास की जय, श्री दामोदर अष्टकम की जय, यशोदा दामोदर की जय, राधा दामोदर की जय. So you have finished the Kirtan Damodar Ashtakam? Have you?
I didn't get you, Prabhuji.
Have you finished singing the Damodar Ashtakam today?
Prabhuji, actually, it is our morning. We are in USA, so we do that in the evening. Yeah. So you can go ahead and sing and then explain or whatever, like that.
Okay. Everyone is singing every day, many times. So everyone knows it by heart. So let's straight away go verse by verse. We sing and we read the translation. Okay. Namamishwaram Satchidanandarupam Lasatkundalam Gokule Brajamanam Yashodabhiyolupaladhavamanam Paramrishtamatyantato Dhritya Gurya. Here in this verse, I have put many points in this verse, philosophical points. Satchidananda Rupam is a great word. What do we mean by Satchidananda Rupam? Very important line. Satchidananda Rupam. We pay obeisances to the Ishvara who has a Satchidananda form. I bow down to the Supreme Controller. Ishvara means controller. I bow down to the Supreme Controller, Namam, Ishwaram, Sri Damodara, whose form is the embodiment of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. His glistening earrings swing playfully to and fro upon his cheeks. He manifests super excellent pastimes in Gokula by stealing fresh butter suspended from the rafters of the gopis' storeroom. In fear of Mother Yashoda, he jumps down from a wooden grinding mortar and quickly runs away She runs swiftly after him and finally catches him from behind. So, we bow down to the Supreme Controller. You have to understand this point very. If we don't bow down to the Supreme Controller, let us talk about philosophy here, which penetrates our intelligence and heart. The Lila itself talks about the philosophy, the science. So let us understand the science behind this Leela. Okay. Namam Ishwaram, we bow down. When we say we bow down means we surrender. When we say we surrender means we don't use our intelligence, our mind full of desires, and our senses running here and there. We completely surrender. Shashtanga Pranam. Completely surrender also means that we surrender to his commandments, to his expectations from us. Okay. Though we have freedom, minute freedom, because we are minute part and particles of the supreme whole, if the supreme is supremely independent, we being minutely independent, we have some independence. But that independence has only two functions. What are those two functions? Only two functions. The Lord doesn't want us to surrender unto him by force. He only wants loving reciprocation, loving surrender, willful surrender, conscious surrender, without any motivation, without any expectation. Otherwise, what happens is we would otherwise also surrender to him, but to his external potency, Maya. If we don't surrender to Krishna, we will still, being a soul, our constitutional position is to serve, is to surrender, is to obey. This is our constitutional position. If we don't surrender to Krishna, we will still be in that constitutional position of being a servant, servitor. But we will start serving the external potency of the Lord, which the Lord is not happy. Krishna wants us to willfully, consciously, lovingly surrender unto him, not by force. Surrendering to the external potency is by force. We are compelled to do that. So these are the two options an independent soul has. Either to surrender to the external potency, Mahamaya, or to surrender to the internal potency, Yogamaya. As soon as we turn towards Krishna, the darkness is gone. I mean, the ignorance is gone. The darkness of ignorance is gone. When we are facing the sun, there is no shadow visible. But when we turn our backs to the sun, we will not be able to see this sun, bright sun, but we will see our shadow, the chaya. I mean, the shadow of everything. So that shadow is the perverted reflection. That is the shadow of the darkness of ignorance. And when you turn towards Krishna, it is the brightness. Krishna. Okay? His effulgence of truthfulness, knowledge, and everything. So to surrender is to mean, to surrender to the internal potency of Krishna means to turn around, okay, an about turn to face Krishna, okay, to face his commandments, to surrender and become free, liberated from our surrender to Maya. That's called liberation. Liberation doesn't mean that you are liberated from something and you are free to do anything. You are liberated from Krishna's external potency and you willfully surrender to Krishna's internal potency. Consciously, willfully, lovingly, with complete knowledge. Gradual. It's a gradual process. The more we surrender, the more we come under his control, under his direct control. I mean, we are being remotely controlled, but the remote control is in the hands of the external potency now. And when we surrender to Krishna, that remote control goes into the hands of Krishna. And Krishna takes charge. That is Namam Ishwaram. He is the supreme controller. When we forget Ishwaram, Param Ishwaram, supreme controller, then what happens is we forget him, we forget our relationship, our duties, our loving relationship and everything. And then what happens? We try to become Ishvara under this false ego. If I lose my identity of being a servitor, okay, then I will develop an identity of being the controller, Ishvara. If I don't surrender to Krishna, the all-attractive personality Krishna, then the result will be I would try to become Krishna. I would try to become an attractive personality because I have forgotten the supreme personality, all attractive, Lord Shri Krishna. So we are part and parcel of the supreme personality, Lord Shri Krishna, the all attractive. When we forget that, when we turn away from Krishna, then definitely we will try to attract everyone towards ourselves. We will have the same tendency. Okay. If we forget the controller, we will try to become the controller. If we forget the supreme attractive Krishna, we will try to become an attracting personality. If we forget Bhagavan, Sri Krishna, Bhagavan means the supreme owner of all the opulences, the complete owner of all the 6 opulences. Bhagavan. Parashar Muni gives the definition of Bhagavan. Aishwarasya samagrasya yasasya. You know that. So when the supreme Bhagavan, the supreme owner, the supreme creator, Lord means Bhagavan. If we forget that absolute truth, Bhagavan, we will try to also become Bhagavan on a small scale. We will try to possess everything. We will develop a mentality of temporarily, falsely owning this and that and everything. Try to become owners, Van, Bhagavan, Dhanvan, Aishwaryavan. Van means possessor. So definitely we would be loved to call as Dhanvan. We will enjoy to be known as and Bhagavan temporarily. And when we leave this body, everything is gone. In 1 second, everything is snatched away. This illusion of being the owner, being the controller, being the attractor is Maya. Similarly, if we forget Purush, Purushottam, Param Purushottam, Bhagavan Shri Krishna. The word Purush means enjoyer. Of course, he is the original enjoyer because he is the original owner. If he is the owner, if he is the creator, definitely he should be the original enjoyer. But when we forget the original creator and owner and enjoyer, and we try to become the owner, creator, then we will try to enjoy. We will try to become Purusha. We are Prakriti. We are servitors. Then, because we've forgotten the Param Purusha, Param Purushottam, Bhagavan, the owner, Lord Sri Krishna, then we will have the same tendency. And as soon as we remember, we know, we are conscious about Krishna being the supreme controller, the supreme enjoyer, the supreme owner, the supreme attractor, then we will forget our position as Bhagavan. We will forget to become, we will give up, we will surrender to become owners and enjoyers and controllers. Like that, Bhagavan has many attributes, many names. So these are the few. Ishwaram here is given as one attribute of the absolute truth. He is supreme controller. So unless we surrender Namam Ishwaram, we will try to become Ishwara. We will never stop to become Ishwara. If we still be, after becoming devotees also, sadhakas, if we still have the tendency of controlling and forgetting that someone supreme is controlling everything, that means we have that material, that Maya illusion in our hearts, and we will not completely surrender. Namam Ishwaram will not happen. Okay? And when Namam Ishwaram happens, like Satyavrata Muni says, Namam Ishwaram, okay, then we will realize, we will understand, we will accept that we are not the enjoyers, controllers. Okay, we are not the owners or anything. Satchidananda Rupam. Okay. He is a blissful, he has a blissful form of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. Now, when we say he has, see, eternity doesn't have a form. I mean, a material form which we can perceive with our material senses. We can never think of something eternal. We know everything is destructible. Whatever in this material world, the experiences we have, everything gets destroyed by the effect of Kala, time. Time destroys everything, Pralaya. Pralaya happens. When there is creation, then Pralaya will happen. Sat, nothing is Sat. So we have an experience of everything being destroyed. Something being eternal as it is, never to be changed and never to destroy and to be destroyed, is out of our experience, beyond our experiences. Something is beyond our experiences. Sat. And how do we understand the Sat form of the Lord, eternal form of the Lord? How do we understand the eternity aspect of it? The eternity attribute of the Lord? We can never, because we don't have any experience of eternity. Though we are eternal souls, we are also Satchidananda. And how to prove this? How do we know that we are also Satchidananda? Because although we are in the material body, in the material world, with material consciousness, material life, material means individual life, individual consciousness, individual, everything individual. Although we are in that consciousness, but still with this material body, temporary material body, we never want to die. We will never want to leave this body. We don't, because we fear being ceased to, we fear that we will cease to exist. Because we think death means I will cease to exist. I'm not conscious about my eternal soul. I think I am bodily consciousness. So that when the body dies, I will think that I will cease to exist. And we fear. If I tell someone, come on, you are getting old, you have a very old body, dilapidated body, you cannot do anything, you cannot move around, you cannot help yourself also, let me change your body. Nowadays, medical science is developing this technique, body transplant. We've seen organ transplants, but now body transplant is also coming. When I tell someone, you will remember everything. You will remember your family. You will be with your family. You will never get separated. Let me change your body only. No one will say no. Oh, yes, yes. I want to become young. I want to regain my younger, healthy body. I want to give up this old body. But I don't want to give up my possessions, my relations and everything. Because if I give up my possessions and relations and everything, if I totally get disconnected from my existence now, then I will think I will cease to exist. That fear is death. That is the fear of death. Death takes away everything. I mean, it is only forgetfulness. Death means you forget everything. It's not that you cease to exist. You cease to exist in the present scenario, in the present circumstances you have. And you go and start existing somewhere else. And you will totally forget where you are now. So that's death. It is not cessation of existing, but change of atmosphere totally. So if we think that after death, the atmosphere will remain same, my world will remain the same, my relatives and remain the same, I will only change the body, then that's no problem. But we fear that we will cease to exist. So this fear is there because we are eternal souls. And just for a few years or a few yugas, earthly calculation, we are changing bodies here. We forget our eternal existence. That is why, we fear. That means the nature of the soul is to be existing eternally. Because we are originally eternal. And because we are originally eternal, our Sarupa is like that. We fear from ceasing to exist. That's the proof. Then we say Chit, full of knowledge. We have sense organs. We have a mind. We have our intelligence. Even a small child or an animal or something wants to see, wants to feel, wants to smell. He wants to perceive everything. He wants to learn everything. He wants to know everything. So the sense perception is always there. Someone who is blind is not happy. Someone who is, I mean, it doesn't have any organ to taste is not happy. So we want to taste, we want to see, we want to smell, we want to feel. That means we want to be conscious. That consciousness is chit, chetan. We are not jad items. We are not inert material. We are spirit soul. Okay? Chetanatma. That chetana, that knowledge, we always look for. We don't want to become inert objects. We want to feel, we want to sense everything. That's another proof of the soul always trying to be in knowledge, always trying to be aware, always trying to be conscious. That is chit. And ananda, everyone knows, no one invites unhappiness, sadness. Everyone wants to run after happiness, aspire and desire to be happy, pray to be happy, pray for others to be happy. Happy birthday, happy anniversary, happy new year, happy Deepavali. We wish everyone happiness and we want everyone to wish us happiness. So because we are eternally in happiness in the spiritual world, we look for the same happiness here always. So the Satchit Ananda aspect of the soul can be easily understood by anyone. We don't want to die. We don't want to be unconscious. We don't want to be unhappy. Sat Chit Ananda. We always want to be Sat Chit Ananda. So that form of eternity, knowledge, and bliss, these are all abstract things for the material senses, for the material mind and material intelligence. Abstract things, intangible. But Krishna has a form which is full of Sat Chit Ananda. Right from the toenail to the hair tips, his body is Satchidananda, full of knowledge, okay, full of bliss, eternally. If we understand the Satchidananda Rupam of Krishna, which is absolutely not perceivable through our material consciousness, we develop our spiritual consciousness, spiritual vision, spiritual understanding with the help of devotees, with the help of these literatures, this knowledge, spiritual science, then we will come back to our Satchidananda consciousness. So that is why Satyapata Muni says, Namam Ishwaram Satchidananda Rupam. This first line itself is a very big achievement if we realize. Nasat Kundalam Gokule Bhrajamanam. Now, Krishna's Rupa is being described. After we say he has an eternal form of knowledge and bliss, then the description of that form, Lasat Kundalam, the Kundala on his ears, his glistening earrings, Lasat Kundalam, swing playfully to and fro upon his cheeks. He manifests super excellent pastimes in Gokula. What is the super excellent pastimes in Gokula? Why we say super excellent? Super excellent is just, Yashoda Bhiyoluka Ladhavamanam Param Vrishnamathyanta To Drutya Gopya. Afraid of Ma Yashoda, he's running. and Yama Yashoda running at a higher speed catches him. I mean, here the philosophy is that Krishna could be caught, could be tied. You know, if we surrender, then Krishna will surrender. If we surrender, Krishna will surrender. Even in our day-to-day affairs. If I surrender to my wife's desires, she will also surrender to my desire. If I try to be adamant, you know, if I try to surrender to my personal desires, she will also be the same. Because I spread that disease of being selfish, of being whimsical. When I become whimsical, selfish, then I spread the same consciousness, the same disease around. And everyone there will also act the same way. Therefore, when we surrender to Krishna, okay, Krishna controls us through his external potency. If we don't surrender to Krishna, and when we surrender to Krishna, Krishna controls us with his internal potency by surrendering to us, to our desires, our spiritual desires, selfless desires. Okay. Therefore, we can perceive Krishna, we can understand Krishna, we can catch hold of Krishna, and we can get our desires fulfilled from Krishna. Because he is the original Govinda, pleasure-giving potency. Govinda, the one who gives pleasure to our senses, the one who controls our senses. So Krishna will surrender to us. It is not that when with the intention of Krishna surrendering to us, we surrender to Krishna. No, not at all. When we surrender and accept to be controlled by Krishna totally, then Krishna also will surrender to us totally. That is love. That is love, selflessness. And the gopis, the Brajavasis, Ma Yashoda, and everyone in different moods, in different roles, are exchanging the same loving reciprocation. You have to understand this science behind surrender, the science behind loving exchange. You don't understand without material consciousness. Science. Okay. We are under the spell of this science. And we try to control everything. That's the philosophy. So, by stealing fresh butter, here the acharyas say, when he steals the fresh butter, not from the houses of devotees, okay, but when we sing the Ashtakam, we glorify that stealer, that he steals the material desires from our hearts. We welcome that stealer to come into our hearts. Like gopis, they always welcome Krishna to come to their houses to steal butter. Rudantam muhurnetra yugmam rijantam, the time is running away. Taram bhoja yugmena satanka netra. Muhushvasa kampatri rekham kantha. Sita graivam damodaram bhakti badham. He cries and rubs his eyes again and again. Who can imagine except devotees? Who can ever imagine that the supreme controller, the king, is rubbing his eyes, crying, rubbing his eyes again and again. His eyes are fearful and breathing quick, and his breathing is quick. As Mother Yashoda binds his belly with ropes, he shivers in fright, and the pearl necklace shakes upon his neck, which is marked with 3 lines of conscience. That's again the description. To the Supreme Lord Sri Damodara, whose belly is bound by his mother's pure love, not by rope, I offer my humble obeisance. Huh? Here we have to understand, of course, no one can imagine Krishna's this Leela of crying, rubbing his eyes. But this is the actual cry. It's not that Krishna is pretending. Krishna is just reciprocating. No. He has his Yoga Maya playing upon him. Like the Mahamaya plays upon us, controls us, and we cry and we laugh in this material world. And Krishna also, like us, wants to be controlled. Therefore, he uses his Yoga Maya upon himself to forget his godliness, his supreme position, to forget that. And so that he can become a small child and reciprocate the Vatsalya rasa, the loving Vatsalya rasa with his mother Yashoda. He wants that. He wants that, and he successfully does that with help of his Yoga Maya. That Yoga Maya is putting everyone under that spell. My Yashoda also comes under that spell. All the gopis also. They forget their position, and Krishna forgets his position, and they play this Leela. And this Leela, under the spell of Yoga Maya, is pure, 100% pure Leela, the Lord, which we can never even imagine in our material consciousness, being in this material consciousness. Krishna becoming a small child, using his Yoga Maya potency, Krishna using a Yoga Maya potency, makes Yashoda and others forget about his supreme position and their position as servitors, and they act as mothers, seniors, and control Krishna. Krishna enjoying that. Krishna is enjoying relishing that pastime. That is why it is so pure. When we talk about this, when we hear about this, we get purified and come back to our spiritual consciousness. We get purified from our diseased consciousness of being controllers, being enjoyers, being owners. That illusion. We come out of that illusion, Mahamaya, and regain our lost original spiritual consciousness of Satchidananda. And then the real bliss starts in our life, which is unexplained. If someone will ask us, we will never be able to explain our happiness. Being poor, being in trouble, being in anxiety, and we are happy. But how can a person be happy when he is poor, when he is distressed? Yes. A poor person, a diseased person, a distressed person can remain happy if he is in spiritual consciousness. When he is purified, then he will not be disturbed. when he always remembers his eternal position in Krishna's eternal position and his relationship and his duties, then he will always remain happiness, in happiness, uh, irrespective of his material situation. For example, we go to a movie, okay, we pay some dollars to go and weep, to become fearful, okay. We enjoy that fearfulness and that artificial drama which makes us weep, and sometimes the artificial drama of comedy, to make us happy for a few moments. We pay for all that. Sit in the hall, spend our time and money to experience all these emotions. Right? These emotions are material emotions, And then we forget. If we forget ourselves, we get absorbed in the movie. We start crying. We start laughing. We start enjoying that. Okay. But if we are conscious there, who am I? Like the adults. The children will not be able to. Sometimes they will not be able to control their emotions there. But those who are not getting absorbed in the movie, they're still conscious of who they are, what they are. They have to go back and work. And they will never get affected by the movie. That drama. Similarly, if we always remember Krishna, if we always aware of our constitutional position, Krishna's constitutional position, our relationship, and everything, our spiritual consciousness revived. We are unconscious now. We are subconscious now. When we become conscious, the spiritual consciousness is regained. Then this drama of the material world, having different emotions, affecting our emotions, will not work anymore. Our distress, our diseases, our poverty, and everything will not disturb us. Another example. Suppose someone is very, very poor. I mean, those who are sadhakas, who have still not attained that position, that 100% spiritual consciousness position. They are still being disturbed by the poverty and the diseases and the troubles of the world. If someone is poor, for example, very, very poor, he hardly has money to eat. You see in India, maybe in America you don't see. You are all very, very opulent there. But in India, you see poverty here. Someone who is poor, very poor, and suddenly, and he's suffering from poverty for many, many years. And suddenly, the head of the state or someone, some rich person, and comes and tell him, after 1 year, you will become super rich. Or after 2 years or for 5 years, you become super rich. There is a jackpot coming on the way. That person, who is suffering from poverty, will not be disturbed much after that. Because he knows after 1 year or 2 years, I'm going to get a jackpot and all these troubles will go away. And these troubles of poverty will go away. I mean, those 2 years, he will not be suffering the way he was suffering before that. Because he has an expectation, he has the faith that definitely his position is going to change. Similarly, a diseased person in the hospital, he is suffering from disease for so many years. Suddenly a doctor comes and says, you take this medicine, you follow my instructions, within 6 months you will be cured 100%. You will become a healthy person. Wow. And that person, though he is diseased and troubled, he is in the hospital, he is handicapped, still he will not feel the pain so much. for that 6 months, because he's sure that he's going to get out of the disease condition. Similarly, the devotees, they should have confidence, nishchayat, utsaha, nishchayat, dhairya, some patience, like a patient. Okay? A patient is asked to be patient. Therefore, we should have some patience. We should have that enthusiasm of doing our devotional services despite our material conditions. Never give up Krishna consciousness. Never give up our sadhana, our promises, our sankalpas. Continue with it. With the faith, nishchaya, utsaha, and the nishchaya, confidence. Yes, one fine day, I'll be free from poverty, I will be free from disease. I mean, I will be free, liberated from our material consciousness. If you have that confidence, that faith, and you don't lose that enthusiasm, and you have patience, that short time, that is the secret of, reducing the time level. Instead of 2 years, you will be liberated within a year. Maybe before that. Because in that distress condition, you have the enthusiasm, you have the faith, and you have the patience.
Have you put those?
I stop here exactly after 45 minutes.
More electro.
Hare Krishna. Sorry, we could not read the whole Damodar Ashtakam. You can always sing and
Hare
read
Krishna.
the translations.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Very nice explanation. Yes, we can definitely, continue if possible, if you come again from that point where you ended right now. But it's amazing how, so many realizations can come from Satyavati Muni's, I'm saying the name right, his, basically these are his realizations also, right? So otherwise, so many other realizations can be interpreted, Yeah. So thank you so much for the wonderful class. If anybody has any comments, they can go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for a very, very inspiring class. Yeah. Very
Hare
nice.
Krishna.
Yeah. So actually the Damodar Ashtakam is supposed to be recited in the evening or in the morning?
Any time of the day. But normally people do it in the evening when they come back, Lamp offering is done in the evening. And morning also. It all depends on your situation there. You can always.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So I thank all of you. I would like to take leave. There are no questions or comments, and then I would leave. If you want to add something, you can add. You can ask something.
Yeah. So Prabhuji, generally some people worship Bal Gopal, form of Krishna, right?
Yeah.
So when we tell them about this Lila, they say it's like we can worship Bal Gopal, but then they have Bal Gopal deities, and we can just offer to them. So then the thing is, we tell them that there were certain Leelas, very enchanting Leelas that happened, in which there's a picture, and because Krishna is non-different from his name, his picture, so in which Yashoda is tying, and then this picture where he's crawling, and the trees are falling down. I think I have those two pictures only. In my this thing. Yeah, one is like when he's crawling, and behind the two devtas come out from the tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's big philosophy there also. Big science there.
Yeah. And Prabhuji, there's one thing I want to ask that came on my mind. I was hearing some class on this, and I heard that first we pay obeisances to the rope, and then to the udar, the Damodar, udar, the tummy, right? Yeah. So what do the acharyas say on this? Because we should pay obeisance to the tummy, baby of the Krishna. But why are we paying obeisance to the rope first?
Oh, wow. That's the last verse of
Yeah,
this.
but I was just inquisitive to know the answer. If you can give me a very slight answer, and maybe hopefully with our prayers to Srila Prabhupada Krishna that if you can come again. So Prabhuji, please note down that you can do the rest of the verses in the next class. But if this particular question you can because it
Yes,
very clearly
Mataji,
says
very
yeah.
simple to answer. Not only
Uh-huh.
the rope, the milk, the flowers, the trees, and everything. Every non-living object is also a living object in the spiritual world. We see inert objects, dead matters here, but nothing is dead there. Every object has a consciousness. Every soul has a different rupa there. So the rope is also conscious. The rope is also not just a paraphernalia, dead matter. No. The rope is a personality. The milk is a personality. Do you get that? It is very difficult to understand this in the material consciousness.
That's what it is, Prabhuji. It's very difficult to understand because, even the dust particles, sand,
Yes.
grass, Yamuna river is trying to, when, Krishna's father was getting baby Krishna, again, he became two-handed form from the jail.
Yeah.
So the Yamuna is also like going up and down to touch the feet of the Lord. And once it touched, then come down, So
Yeah.
it's dancing to touch the feet of the Lord. So it's
Yes, we
amazing.
should not laugh. We should not laugh. We should not hear this in disbelief.
Yeah, true.
We have to blame our consciousness. We have to blame our modern education, which has taken us out of this spiritual consciousness. It is, I mean, not an insane thing like this material world people talk about. This is the actual consciousness we should develop. Even here, when you stamp a flower, okay, it's okay. But when it is offered to Krishna and you stamp it, you immediately take it up and put it on your head. Right?
Yes.
Because it's prasada. It is prasada. It has the potency to purify me. That is, we have to understand all these things. These are not dead material things. No. In the spiritual world, or I'm not talking about the geographical spiritual world only. When I say spiritual world, within this geographical material world also, there is a spiritual world for devotees. Now, I'm not talking about Shridham Mayapur only or Vrindavan Dham only. Your house is also a Dham, a Vaikuntha. More Vrindavan, our minds, can be developed as Vrindavan. That consciousness, the Vrindavan consciousness, the selfless servitude consciousness, that is required. The consciousness of Vrindavan and Mayapur and the spiritual world and Vaikuntha world is what we are looking for. So for devotees, even in this material world, there is a spiritual world. Even this, in the world of material things, for the devotees, there are spiritual things. So we try to respect every, like in this Damodar Ashtakam, you will come across a verse. You go and read Bhagavatam, you will come across a verse where the trees fall down and Nalakuvera and Manigriva, they rise up in the form of devatas and they pray to Lord Krishna, and when they pray they say, please bless us so that we can respect and love every person and every object. They say like that. Okay, हर वस्तु हर व्यक्ति का मैं सम्मान कर सकूं. Not only व्यक्ति, हर वस्तु का, क्यों वस्तु भी व्यक्ति है. in the spiritual consciousness.
Because Prabhuji, because there's God in everything. That's why, right?
Eh? God?
Because God is in every object. That's
Yes.
animate or
Bhagwan.
inanimate. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. That's what. We have to develop this consciousness. Kan kan mein Bhagwan. Chan chan mein Bhagwan. And the devotees, Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti. Yam Shama Sundaram Achinta Guna Sarupam Govindam. Ishavasyam idam sarvam. Ishavasya. The Lord is residing in everything. Yeah. In Lord Brahma says in the Brahma Samhita. Okay. Andantarastha Paramanu Chayantarastham. Govindamadi Purusham Dhamma. In every atom, there is Krishna. It is created by Krishna. It is controlled by Krishna. It is serving Krishna. Therefore, it has Krishna in it, the spiritual potency in it. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for explaining that. And actually through the Damodar Lila, only this thing comes out. So Prabhuji, one more small question stems out from this is that, for example, Vaikuntha is different from Golaka Dham. Vaikuntha is where there is Narayan, right? Krishna in the Narayan form. So, and Golaka Dham is where Krishna resides, and he's playing his bansuri by the Kadamba tree. And, we hear all those beautiful things about the spiritual world. That is the Golaka Dham. So, and once we go there, we don't return back. We heard that. So, once we are there, so we can also be any of these things also, right? It's not necessary that we'll be the Sakhi or Sakhas of Krishna. We can also be like a grass there. We can also be like, the pot there. Anything we can be, right? Because
yes,
everything is living there. Yeah.
Yes, you are right.
Okay.
The spiritual world, Vaikuntha, without any Kuntha. And this material world. Anything outside the material world is Vaikuntha. Okay? The spiritual sky is full of Vaikuntha planets. And Goloka Vrindavan is also one of the Vaikuntha planets. Within the Vaikuntha world is Goloka world. The Goloka planet. It's like that. The highest and the biggest spiritual planet is Goloka in the Vaikuntha world. Number one, question answered. Number two, your question was, what was the second question, Mataji here? At the end, you said something.
I mean, we can become anything.
Yeah. I got your question. Like there are 12 rasas, relationships. 7 are gona, okay, and 5 are higher. Chantras, Dasyaras, Sakharas, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. Right. So you can be in the spiritual world with Krishna in any of these rasas. And all these rasas will give you the same pleasure, the same ananda. There someone is a tree, someone is a rope or something. Everyone is enjoying the same bliss. It never aspires to change position. Okay? It never aspires. It is happy where it is. So you have your sarupa already fixed. You cannot change that, and you don't even would like to change that once you are back there.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay? You will serve Krishna in that sarupa forever. And get the same bliss what Radharani and others are getting.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you Thank you so much for explaining that. It, because we have to offer the diya, not ritualistically, but with love, and to different parts of the body and to Yashoda and this in the end. So, and to, of course, we offer to all the, Devi Devtas and everyone, family members, Srila Prabhupada, we're offering the diya. But It has to be with love, because, and how will the love come unless we hear the pastimes? We often hear that, when we are when we chant nicely, we read Srila Prabhupada's books, association of devotees, nice prasadam, then these leelas will be manifesting in our mind all the time, in our heart. So it's so important to hear these, because then we can nicely understand that. And the best thing is, which I like, is when we hear Damodar Leela, Prabhuji, just my thing is that although Krishna is a baby, but so much he's showing. Probably he's not even shown like this when he was with Arjuna in the battlefield. In the battlefield, he's just giving him directions. But here, all the leelas he's doing, opening his mouth and showing the whole thing. And then, the leela where he manifested the cows, Govardhan leela, and, amazing Radha Kund, Sham Kund manifesting. Or, that he was not like a baby boy, but most of the other leelas is like, I think he's from the age from 1 to 5. So it's amazing how to, Krishna is as powerful as a baby, as a crawling baby, as a, like he never grows older, and then so many qualities are there. So, in our material life, suppose we are frustrated or distressed with any relationship that we have. It could be with relatives, I'm just broadly saying, with some friends. So, at least we have Krishna with us, so that frustration can just, fly out of the window. And we can feel happy that we are connected to Krishna, who's the supreme and who will never leave us. And eternally, he's always there with us, like that. So I was thinking, Partha Prabhu or anybody else, in the end, actually, I muted because I was getting some noise that time. Then Prabhuji stopped the class. So anybody has any question, comment, they can go ahead before we end the call now.
No,
Prabhuji.
I just
Dandavat
want.
Pranam, August.
Yeah, go ahead, Prabhuji.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. August Prabhupada. It was such a nice class reflecting upon the Damodar Lila of the Lord. It is so important to understand that how the Lord loves us, and He also wants to participate. So makes us feel that it's only that matter of we have to make our consciousness pure to feel that we really belong to Krishna and not belong to anybody in this material world. And you rightly said that when somebody is under spiritual consciousness, Krishna consciousness, all the trials and tribulations of the of material life, they don't exist. And I was just reflecting upon an anecdote. And there was a Gujarati, there was a lady who was undergoing a brain tumor surgery, and then he's a devotee. She's a devotee rather. So she was while the surgery is going on, it seems that one has to be awake somehow. But I don't know whether it needs to be or what she chose to be. She was reciting the Bhagavad Gita verse, chapter 12, verse 6 and 7. Yetu sarvani karmani mashanasmaspara yananeva yogena bhakti yogena tesham samudharta mittu samsara stagarat. So on these two verses she was reciting, and she was completely blissful. And the doctor said, "I have never seen such a patient who could bear the expectation of pain and the pain itself in such a nonchalant way, indifferent way." I mean, and that was the strength of Krishna consciousness. It is wonderful to reflect upon that. And you brought it out. I was also, it came to my mind, just wanted to share. And otherwise,
thank you, Partha. That was nice sharing that experience of Mata.
Yeah. I mean, yes, and the Leelas, and Mata was saying the Leelas and the Guna Rupa, and these are all connected as more and more we hear. More and more our faith on the Lord and increases, and we feel
yes.
so blessed.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Can I leave?
Please bless us with
Prabhuji, I think Gita Mataji. Sorry, go ahead.
No, Prabhuji
Yeah, I mean,
may not agree with me, but I just wanted to say that for me, I haven't read the Bhagavatam, fully, but I watched this Yashoda Maiya ke Nandlal, And usme ye Damodar Lila, Govardhan and all that, when you watch, your bhav increases tenfolds, you know. I mean, I'm just saying, so it helps me at least. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for sharing that. Yeah, all of them are connected, like, like, I mean, for example, in the Damodar Leela, he's fulfilling the desire of, the Nalakuvera is his devotee, Naradji, right? And he's fulfilling his desire because he put him there as trees. Because, like Prabhupada ji said, that if you don't dress yourself, then trees are standing there naked. So this realization comes to our acharyas. We can never think like that. Like, if like these days people are dressing so scantily. So next life they'll become tree. Why? Because they are not covering their body. They should cover their body. At least like Muslims, like in Muslim country, they are like completely covered. The ladies even cover their hair because hair is also part of the beauty. And that's so good in a way. Because, like through Krishna conscious, we even appreciate the Muslim culture because they say the hair also has beauty. So only face is visible, the head is covered, and they only expose themselves in front of their brother or husband or father. So, all these things are there coming from the Vedic culture. And similarly, like Govardhan Leela, like there also he's protecting his, the Gopas, Gopis, Adivasis from Indra, who was like doing that. So there's protection. Here it's like fulfilling the desire of Naradji. So all this in detail is there in the Bhagavatam. So it's so important to have Bhagavatam, like in a book form. Book Bhagavat is very, very important to have. So then we can always access and read and go deep into these pastimes which Srila Prabhupada has with so much of effort written down for us in this Kali Yuga. And
so Mataji, exposing hair is not good?
I mean, no, Mataji, but I'm just saying in general what happens is that even in our Vedic culture, like my elder daughter was appreciating that some of the Srila Prabhupada's disciples who are there in Alachua, they say it's so nice that the Matajis are Western body. They wear saris and they cover their head. You know how they cover the head like in a Gurdwara?
Right.
Yeah. So similarly, if we think of it, like the Muslim ladies, some of them in India, you see they wear the whole black they're wearing. I don't know about the black concept, but they kind of cover up. Even here, we see some Arabic Muslim ladies, around, and they completely cover, only their face is visible. And the full sleeves they wear, they cover below, they wear socks on the feet. They're completely covered. But the reason is like the culture behind this is the ladies are supposed to cover themselves. Even Radharani's charan is only visible twice in a year. What to say of us uncovering? Like her charan, I think it's on Gopashtami and on Radhashtami. We go to the temple, we see the beautiful feet of Radharani. But other times, Radharani also covered. So we have to follow Radharani, We have to follow Srila Prabhupada.
So, in India all the time. Here, I don't know why in temples people don't cover, but we should cover. That's a matter of respect to the Lord,
Yeah, but Mataji, here also you will see that some people are joining new. Say some Western body joins in. They're wearing these short, and they come like that. But if they had enough sukruti, then they will. And if they're coming into Krishna consciousness, we'll start seeing them wearing pants, covering. They'll themselves start feeling odd. They'll want to wear some traditional clothes. But then the other people who are just coming and going, and then, like for example, I'm just mentioning here, Prabhupada said that why it is important for ladies to wear sari. Because it is important that, you cover yourself on the top 2 to 3 times with a cloth. So, when you wear a sari, there are a couple of layers of the sari comes. It's very, very dignified and you just cover yourself nicely. And, but the thing is, when we are in Krishna consciousness, we even appreciate the Muslim culture.
Right.
We connect everything to what our acharyas have said. And even, in fact, Muslim people cover more. If we go to Gurdwara, they cover their head. And my daughter really appreciates, she says that the Indian body, Matajis will wear sari, but their head is not covered. And they will come in the temple like that. Even I don't cover. But she was appreciating how they, from a Western culture, their head is all the time covered, and even if they're not on the altar. So this is appreciable because they were with Srila Prabhupada association directly.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So, like whatever Prabhupada has given us, and our Srila Prabhupada, he, in the sense, I would say that he was also like a grahastha. So
Right.
he's given a lot of guidance about situations where husband is not devotee, or even about our periodical monthly cycle. He's mentioned everything Prabhupada has mentioned in his lectures everywhere. And then later on he became sannyasi. So then anyway, we were anyway enlightened when he. So yeah, I just
Sorry,
want to.
Mataji, can I leave, Mataji?
Yeah, so sorry, Prabhuji.
No, no,
I
no.
just got flown away by I always want to
Thank you.
glorify Srila Prabhupada. So we
Yeah,
pay
yeah,
our
yeah.
obeisances to all the devotees. Vancha kalpatrubhascha, kripa sindhu evacha,
Durevacha,
pavnebhyo,
Dhiranam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah.
Anant Koti Vaishnavind ki jai,
Bindi ki jai,
Srila Prabhupada ki jai,
jai.
Tulasi Govind Prabhu ji ki jai.
Tulsi Govind Prabhuji ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji, and we look forward to your association again.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
And
Hari
thank you
Bol.
to all the devotees who joined today.
Hari Bol.
Radha Damodar ki jai, Kartik ki jai.
Orlando Mataji ki jai.
Hare Krishna.